How's everybody today? Well, in reviewing the last game, it's always good to win, but and we did some good things in the game, but we're a little inconsistent in the way we played on both sides of the ball, so we have a lot of things to work on, a lot of things to improve, and I think the key thing that the players and everybody needs to understand is playing a team like we're playing this week, it's going to be necessary for us to, play better in this game, execute better, be more consistent, have better fundamental execution. And I think the best way to do that is to focus on preparation each day this week. What do you do on Monday? What do you do on Tuesday? What do you do on Wednesday? What do you do on Thursday? And really get it down and carry it into the game with good focus. We had some outstanding performances. You got the players of the week, Kenyon and Derek and Ashawn Robinson and Jaron Reed and Tony Brown, Nice Wunger and Marie Smith on special teams. We don't really have any injuries to report. We got a couple guys that will be in black jerseys today, but I don't think anybody that will, be out for this game. Ole Miss, certainly has an outstanding team. They've got a lot of experience returning, like 18 starters or whatever. Obviously, when you score over 75 points a game, you got a pretty dynamic offense in a lot of ways. They've got a lot of good players. They got a great scheme. They do a really good job of executing, and they play fast. And they're leading the nation in a lot of categories when it comes to, offense. I think Chad Kelly has done a really good job for them. They got a really good runner in number 6. They've got really good receivers. Treadwell is probably as good as anybody in the country, and really good receiving core. And so their defense, they've got 7 starters back, and one of the best defenses in the SEC. Giving up 12 points a game so far this year, so they're one of the best defensive teams in our conference as well. So this is a very, very good all-around team. Certainly going to be a challenging game for us, but we're looking forward to playing in the SEC, playing in our conference. This is a conference opener for us, and if you're a great competitor, you love to play in games like this, and this is certainly going to offer as many challenges as anyone could hope for as a competitor.
Start here, Coach.
Cyrus Jones seems to be playing with a lot more confidence this year. What have you seen from him in terms of his growth, and also how's he leading that secondary group?
Well, I thought Cyrus played, most consistently for us last year. I do think that, the more a guy plays, the more experience that he gains. He's played very well for us so far this year. I think he has a good understanding of what we expect for him. He's done a good job so far in the return game for us as well. And he sets a good example in terms of how he works and what he does, and I think that's been a positive for us with some of the younger players in the group.
The other side to Tony.
Nick, in your preparation, is there any time at all spent looking at last year's game and lessons that can be learned from last year's game in Oxford?
Well, I don't think there's any question about it. One of the most important things that we always do is, especially when it's the same staff, is you always look at, what did they do last year? How did they play you defensively? What did they try to do offensively? And sort of evaluate, and we do this after we play the game, evaluate what we did well and what we needed to improve on. And that's the first thing we get out this year when we play somebody, is try to figure out how we could do those things better and how we can make those adjustments. So I always think that's a big part of planning.
Right back over here to Eric.
Talking to Kenyon last week, he said you had a conversation with him to kind of slow things down, felt like maybe he was trying to push and do too much. What do you remember from that conversation? How do you think he did this week with that?
Well, I just thought after the first game, Kenyon was trying to make a big play every time he got the ball and was really trying hard, maybe too hard, and that was affecting sort of his decision-making, whether he should bring a ball out on the kickoff or, how he actually ran the play as it was designed to press the hole and get out of it, what you can get out of it, and the big plays will come. You got to let the game come to you, and I certainly think that he was a lot better in this last game, and hopefully he'll be able to build on that.
Over here to Matt.
Nick, with OJ, just how well do you think he's playing through the first two games? It seems like he's had some very good moments, both catching the ball and also in the blocking game also.
OJ has done a really good job. He had a great camp, and he's been productive for us in 2 games in a row in the passing game, and I think it's important for us to continue that because he is a little bit of a mismatch player most of the time, and he's a very good athlete, very good receiver, and he has improved his blocking, and I think that has helped as well.
And do you see anything different about Ole Miss's offense with Chad Kelly in there compared to Bo Wallace schematically, or is it the same offense?
Well, it's, conceptually, it's pretty much the same offense. I think that, they've always been a team that likes to do quarterback runs. He has run the ball a few times, and he is a very effective runner. When they bring the next quarterback in, number 2, they've done a little more of that. That doesn't mean they won't do it with Chad Kelly. He has done it some, maybe not quite as much as Bo Wallace did it a year ago, but throwing the ball, executing their offense, he has done a fantastic job.
Back to Cecil.
Coach, you recruited Robert Kimdichie. You've played against him. What's unique about him? What does he bring to them on both sides of the ball, I guess?
Well, he's really, first of all, he's a really, really good athlete. He's a very instinctive football player. He's got great size. He's quick. He can pass rush. They put him over on offense, and, you see his athleticism. A guy could probably be a really good tight end if he wanted to be, or they wanted him to be. So he's a very diverse player in terms of his physical skills, but also in the kind of instincts and athletic intuition he has to make a lot of plays.
Right here, Dwayne.
Coach, you obviously went to the nickel a lot. How good do you feel like that will work against what Ole Miss brings with the multiple sets and the use of their tight ends?
Well, I don't, they play some regular formations, but, they're quite a bit spread out. And, you got to at least match personnel when they have 3 receivers in the game. And, 17 is a bit of a mismatch player for him, the tight end, who is a very, very good receiver, very athletic guy. So they kind of use him, on the line in the backfield as well as out as a wideout. So these are the things that you have to adapt to and adjust to. But, it's pretty hard to play these guys if you don't play nickel.
Back to this side, John.
Nick, Laramie Tunsil has missed the first 2 games for Ole Miss, and I guess it's kind of unresolved as to whether he'll play this week. Do you have to game plan assuming that he does play, and kind of when figuring out defensive schemes, do you have to kind of look back to last year with tape of him playing, or just kind of go off what you got so far this year?
He's a very good player, and he's played some really good football, against us in the past, and I really don't know his circumstances in this situation. I don't know whether he's going to play or he's not going to play. It's for the defensive lineman basically to study. It doesn't change their scheme whether he plays or doesn't play. It doesn't change their plays. It doesn't change who gets the ball. It doesn't change their runs. It does, change a little bit how an individual might play against him. So I think that those individuals need to look at that, and if he plays, be ready for it.
Coach, as you get ready to face a team that has such a good receiving core, how do you feel about where your secondary is overall right now?
Well, I think we've played better in the first, couple games. I don't think we played against the quality of receivers that, Ole Miss has, so this will be a challenge for them. A few of the guys played against these guys last year, and we obviously need to do a better job this year than we did last year. But they make a lot of big plays, and they've made a lot of big plays in the first 2 games, and I think it's going to be really important that our guys understand that, we've got to not allow them to make big plays. That's a challenge in and of itself with the skill level that they have.
A few more. Right here, Alex.
Coach, just wanted to ask you, can you explain the decision to go with Cooper at the beginning of the second half? And what do you see after watching film from the 2 quarterbacks? You said they need to improve, but what do you see from Graydon and what they did?
Well, I think that, both guys did some good things in the game, but I think both guys, we'll see when they watch the film and probably feel this way that there's a lot of things that they could have done better. Obviously, we, threw too many balls that the other team could have intercepted. They intercepted a couple, but they could have intercepted a couple more. So, taking care of the ball is the number one concern, but managing the offense, getting us in the right protection, the right play, especially in third down situations, these are things that we need to do a much, much better job of. And if we do that, there were a lot more plays to be made out there, and I think both guys need to play better.
In front, Ken.
Ole Miss defense can be very disruptive. You guys had some trouble protecting the quarterbacks last Saturday. How do you feel about that unit?
Well, Ole Miss's defense is very, very good. Their front is very active. They're very quick. And I think it's going to be a challenge for us because we did not pass protect, real well last week. We had some issues with speed rushers, in the first game. So we're going to have to do a much better job in that regard against what is probably, the best front that we played to this point, no doubt.
One more in the back, Jen.
Going back to the quarterback situation, is the mindset still the same with splitting time, or is it still up in the air?
Well, I think both guys need to improve, and I think, we evaluate this on a day-to-day basis, and, we're going to make the decision based on what we think is best for our team. If it's to play two guys, it'll be to play two guys. If we think one guy is going to give us a better chance in this game, we'll certainly play that guy.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.